Hello, hello. Today we are going to talk about how to find your purpose with a USP. I get a ton of messages that are like, cool, Devin, your information is nice and you have great business sense. And I still have no idea what to actually do. What do I actually do? How do I find something that defines myself or um, do anything that defines myself? I have no idea what to do. Or if I am doing something, I don't know where to go with it and how to make money off of it. So this is a attempt at addressing that topic. So finding a purpose is not really a very easy thing to do, but I think characterizing it in this form will help a lot of people. Even if you kind of already are on the right track, it'll help you define that. So first, why am I using the framework of a USP? A USP is called a unique selling proposition or position. I like position better. USP is a unique selling proposition or position. So what does that mean? It really means, to me, it is what value sets you apart, right? So, like, what identity or thing, concept, practice sets you apart? What makes you unique? Okay. And today I want to talk about what that is and also how to find it. As objectively as I know how. I'm thinking about this problem a lot because I, throughout my entire life, have wanted to position myself in a way that makes me unique. I like it. And these days, I guess going over what I think about that, when I think of what truly makes me unique, it is the ability to talk through gaming industry and marketing trends and new media platforms in a way that very few people can do and understand. So that's great, right? But that doesn't help you because it's nice that I got there, but how did I get there? And what are the frameworks of mine that I use to get there? So I'm going to give you some step-by-step things that I think will hopefully be helpful. The first thing I would do is understand your objective. So what we're talking about right now, just to bring everybody back before we get into this, is we are talking about how to develop what makes you unique. We're talking about how to develop what gives you an advantage over everyone else. And maybe I should take just a minute to explain why that's important. If you have that ability, you become more than just a person, Mr. Wayne. You become an idea. And what I mean is you suddenly encapsulate something that people can look to you for and can find expertise in when they think about that thing. I want to be one of, if not the only people, that when people think about new media platforms like TikTok or like Twitter or like Twitch, especially Twitch and YouTube and content creation and business creation, they think about me, right? They think, okay, I think Devin Nash is a good authority on that topic, as well as a couple of other things. In terms of marketing and attention, I want them to think about that, right? There's a lot of different aspects of those platforms. And importantly, there are issues that I don't care to be as identified with, such as mental health on those platforms. I do talk about it, but that's not my jam, right? My jam is marketing and attention on those platforms. There's tons of different issues on those platforms, but those are the ones that I focus on. Okay, so you need something that makes you unique and makes you stand out from other people, that when they think about that topic, that you are one of the people that comes to mind. So the first thing to understand is your objective, right? Which is, what specifically do you want to accomplish? So I just stated for you what my objective is. In the marketing world, I want to be known as a serious authority on new media, especially on Twitch and YouTube. It's a pretty specific objective. And I also have very specific ways of doing that, because not only what specifically do you want to accomplish, but where do you want to accomplish it? And as you go through this video, I think you'll start to see how we formulate building a real USP by asking ourselves these high quality questions. So where do you want to accomplish it? I want to accomplish, at first, most of the work that I was doing was on Twitch, and that was where I wanted that to live. But I changed my objective and I said, I want that to live on YouTube, and I want that to live on Patreon, and I want that to live on Discord. I wanted to live on more evergreen platforms. So I changed where I wanted to accomplish something. So when you understand what your objective is, and keep in mind, you don't need to know what you want to do yet, right? That's later, because I know that I'm going to address that. That's a big question a lot of you have. What should I do? You have to understand your objective first. What specifically do you want to accomplish? Do you want a lot of followers? Do you want a lot of money? Because those are two real separate things. You can have a lot of money and no followers, or almost no followers. And you could have a lot of followers and no money, believe me. And I see it all the time. So what specifically do you want to accomplish? Do you, for me, I want to get this information out there. I actually don't particularly care how many people consume it. I will not go seriously out of my way to clickbait something or do something so egregious to get more attention. But I'll use techniques that I know to do it. But I want the information out there. I like talking about it. It's just something that I want to do. So that's why I want to accomplish things on that level. If you hear noise, by the way, there's construction on my roof, so I can't stop that. But that's going to be here. But okay, I don't know if my mic will pick it up. So what specifically do you want to accomplish, and where do you want to accomplish it, right? And then when do you want to accomplish it? Right? So is it now? Is it in 2 years when you're more prepared as an expert? Like, when are you planning to launch this thing, right? Sooner is better than later. Okay. Second thing is understand your demographic. So understanding your demographic means who is the specific audience you want to target. Using the methodology that we have been for this video, who I want to target is I want to target 16 to 36-year-old, mostly male, people who are building businesses or looking to build businesses in the new media space. Or those could be content creation businesses, those could be marketing or advertising businesses, or those could just be people that are interested in the space. So there's a lot of people like that too. Just people that are interested in the space, maybe getting a job there eventually or building a career, or they just like it and they're doing something totally different. There's some people that are representing brands that are interested. There could just be a wide gamut of people in that kind of specific audience. Now, there's other people that I'm happy to have in it. My audience is like 7% female. That's great. If there are women entrepreneurs, that's fantastic, right? I'm actually specifically trying to cater a lot of work to women in the gaming industry because I think it's such a big problem. Not that they're there, but that they're not there. And but that's not specifically, that's more of like the objective, right? Less of like targeting my demographic. My demographic is very specific. Then, really importantly, what problem do you want to solve for them? Okay. So what problem do most of these 16 to 36-year-old males have? Well, this video is actually answering one of those problems, like every single one of my videos does. One of the problems that a lot of 16 to 36-year-old men have is, what the hell do I do? Right? Like, what is my thing? Right? What? Okay, well, this video is attempting to answer that. All of my videos are attempting to answer something like that, right? So what problem do you want to solve specifically for that demographic? If you have, your audience is 65-year-old people, right? What kind of problems do they have? Maybe pain management is a problem that they have, and you want to do physical therapy for them, and that's solving that problem for that specific demographic. You're already on your way to understanding. See, like like you've understood your objective. I want to help people in aging years get out of pain because it's difficult for them. The audience is 65 years old plus, and the problem I want to solve for them is pain management. Right now, you've already defined your purpose by just answering these two questions. See how easy that is? It's really like when you structure yourself around this, as you start to find your USP. So understand your demographic is really important, and understanding what problem you'll solve for that particular demographic, and what problem, more importantly, that demographic has. A really good example of this is Tim Ferriss, who's who I learned the demographic stuff from. He's a pretty well-known self-improvement type of dude. He for the 4 Hour Workweek, which is his best-selling book, defined a similar demographic of like 60 to 36-year-old males, predominantly out of Silicon Valley, and realized that their problem was that they were working too much. So he realized that they just are putting too many hours into the office, and it's just ridiculous. So the 4 Hour Workweek was made to get those people into a framework where they could work less, and that was a huge success that launched a multi-million-dollar business for him to this day, because he understood his demographic and he understood what a problem was for them. When you sort of specialize into a demographic and you understand that you start to try to understand that demographic, the more that you understand the demographic, the more that you will start to see the problems they have. And if you're, it's easier to frame a demographic because it's easier to be passionate about demographic. I want to address people that are 25 to 35 years old and predominantly Chinese. I want to address people that are 18 to 36 and predominantly Brazilian, right? Like you'll start to see that those groups of cultures and races have different problems, and those problems can be answered by something that you're passionate about solving. Cool. All right. So 3 is mirroring. I actually think this one's kind of out of step with my notes, but who is maybe not who is creating or making things in this industry that you are impressed by? Okay. So once you've understood your objective and you understand your demographic, so you start to want to try to look for people that inspire you. For me, and particularly one of the things that I knew my long-term future was going to be on YouTube, I really liked what Total Biscuit was doing. I thought that it was really cool. He, if you don't remember Total Biscuit, John, who was a person who unfortunately he passed away from cancer a few years back, but he made videos about the meta of the gaming industry, and they were really insightful commentary on how the gaming industry just kind of is. And I really, really liked that. So I took a lot of inspiration from that. I also took a lot of inspiration from Gary Vaynerchuk, who talks a lot about marketing concepts and advanced marketing concepts, especially in the new media world. And you'll see a lot of corollaries to my type of stuff with him. I also took a lot from Tony Robbins, who I think is like phenomenal at self-improvement and speaking, and a lot from Tim Ferriss, the aforementioned person from before. So you will, in a weird way, when you find a lot of people who inspire you and they drive you, like you'll innovate. I don't believe there are a lot of like really new ideas or conceptually. Instead, I think that there are innovations on old ideas that look then like new ideas. So everything that I've said and I'm going to say has been said before, but it hasn't been said in the package and the way that I'm saying it. And this package could be the one that you open that gets you to the next level, right? So my work is a culmination of the inspirations of other people before me, and you should make a list of 3 to 5 people that inspire you on that same level and watch a lot of their stuff and get ideas from it. I think it's really important to consistently be inspired, especially when you're looking for a USP. You should be, and you're young, you should be spending almost all of your time consuming things that inspire you and drive you to look at new ideas. This is really, really important. You would be surprised as an executive how much time I spend consuming new ideas. I spend a lot of time on new ideas. And so I'm not, this is actually a topic for another video, but that's a really important thing. I spend a lot of time consuming new ideas. I'm actually going to write down that that's a really important topic for another video. Okay. After mirroring, what will you specialize in? So, what will you do better than anyone else? Hopefully, at the point that you're at, that you've understood your objective, your demographic, and mirror, you probably understood the problem you're trying to solve, and you've found people that inspire you. You will now be able to figure out what you can do better than anyone else. So for me, one of the things that I do better than anyone else is I see trends before they happen. This is something that I have called on numerous different occasions. I'm not always right, but I'm usually right. And if you are a person that's like an investor and you're right about 70% of the time, you are like a world-class investor. If you win 56% of your league matches, you're a pro player, right? Over a long span of time. And I would say that my prediction skills for what is going to be getting attention are around the 65 to 70% mark. So I don't always get it, but I'm usually there. Sometimes I make some crazy predictions, like so and so is going to blow up or whatever, or this thing is going to take over, and that doesn't work. But I've learned I'm very good at trend analysis, and I'm really good at understanding why people put attention to certain places and think about that. So I specialize in that, and people come for that. But the thing I want to tell you is that That is not a God-given gift or right. I don't have any particular ability to do that beyond through any kind of natural talent. I don't really believe in talent. I have just hyper focused on being good at that over a long period of time. And I've been wrong. And I've not been afraid to be wrong, especially initially. People won't this is kind of the curse and the boon of being a business person. People will only value you for your last at bat. So my last at bat, if it's NFTs and Web3 and cryptocurrency, a lot of people disagree with it. That's what they value me for at that point. If my next one is a hit, then and it gets 500,000 views, then that's what they value me for. And then over time, people build a picture of it, but that picture could be shattered in a single bad PR move or whatever, or a single good one. So you're only really as good as your last at bat. And so it's important for people to maintain their perception of you based on like what you will actually specialize in. So what can you do better than anyone else in the field that you're doing it in? And that is just the main thing I want you to take away from this section is that is not a talent thing. It is a decision thing for what you will focus on. I just focus a lot on trends. I read a lot about that. Back to the previous section on like getting inspired by people in this industry. I spend a lot of time on podcasts and talk shows and speaking with other analysts and experts and listening to people that know a lot about specific subjects to build an opinion on this. I could say with confidence, there's like no talent in what I do. Like it's just time, right? So you have to show where you're going to put that time. Philosophically, there's people that say specializing is for insects and that jacks of all trades are better. This is just, I don't have time to explain why this is categorically untrue, but this is just a wrong statement. Specialization in the human world is the real competitive advantage that we have, especially in a society where we are moving more and more towards work that is valued for its creativity and its thought, and less towards like actual industry, which can be replaced by like robots and shit. So the amount of specialization that you do separates you from other people, and that separation creates scarcity, and scarcity creates value. So specialization is really important. That's another video idea. Okay. All right. Next one is, what values and principles set you apart? Now, this one I think is going to surprise people. Values and principles are super important. You should build a set of principles that you almost never, if not never, compromise, that define not only what you do in the business world, but also who you are. So, for example, I will always, no matter how much I charge somebody, give back 100% of the money that they pay me if they are unhappy with my service. And it doesn't matter how ridiculous their claim is, I will give it back. I have done this several times over the course of my career, and sometimes at great detriment to myself. So that's one example of like a value that I think sets me apart, right? Another one is that like in the business world, my staff can solve any problem under $250, like just without asking me. And as the company grows, that number grows. So like at larger companies, that number was like $500 or $1,000. Values and principles. This is a harder one, a lot more general. You may or may not already have like an idea of this, and it's actually hard for me to conceptualize. I have like so many of these like embedded values and principles that they here's another one. Like, I don't lie to people in business. I do not lie to them. I will literally tell them at detriment to myself or losing that client, and it will not work for them. That's a big one, actually. So like there have been so many times on the phone where somebody is like tells me they have like $100,000, $150,000 budget, and then they want to do some kind of campaign, and the way they want to do the campaign actually just happened the other week is a very large. I was trying to be careful here because I can't really name the client, but like they're a food and drink client. They came to me and they wanted to do a campaign on Twitch with giveaways, and they are a semi-localized. They do drive-through stuff, so like they're a semi-localized company. I outright just told them, "You will not make money doing this. This is not worth your time." Like, and that was it. Like I didn't take the job. I didn't get the money. My agency didn't get the money. I have left millions of dollars. That's not an exaggeration on the table because of that principle. But what it does, I think, is create an authenticity that is priceless. I am I'm always going to have that principle. It's hard. This is a really hard section to convey how much I believe in this. Another example is like I won't do NFT show coins or art. Like I just won't. There's a lot of money in it. There's like tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars of people willing to pay for that. But I just won't take those. I'll only take those projects that I think I'm really interested in when it comes to Web3 stuff that's actually like getting done. At least as far as I can see. So leaving a lot of money on the table. You don't have to do this, by the way. You take everything that comes through your door. Like I'm not advising this. I'm just trying to tell you that, trying to give you a framework so that you can define your own values and principles of what sets you apart, right? Maybe you always treat somebody a certain way, or maybe you always call back your customer 30 days after the job and just ask them how things are going, right? Those are values and principles that you need to define that are really good. I should have that value and principle, but I'm too lazy. Path of Exile is too good of a game. All right, 6. And last, what are you doing to improve the industry, world, place you're in for the better? So finally, what is the thing that you are doing to improve the world and industry and place? I think what we're doing at Novo is we are making the process of working together with brands and influencers more transparent and clear to understand and more ethical. I think that's what we're doing. The agency world in Hollywood and also in entertainment is notoriously unethical. Everybody's trying to screw everybody, and it's extremely easy because influencers typically don't have the business knowledge that someone like I do, so I can abuse that really easily. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to normalize the pricing, normalize the expectations and the deliverables on both sides, and make this industry a more ethical place where people feel more comfortable to create. I'm also trying to push the industry to try to accept norms that are still outside of its boundaries, like women in gaming or minorities in gaming. I think that's really important. So what are you going to do to improve the industry or world or place you're in for the better? And actually, if you only answer this question, you have a USP. Even if you don't do any of the other work that I said in this, and you don't answer any of these other questions, if all you set out to do, regardless of the money in it, is try to make the world a better place, you will probably succeed in a way that you didn't expect. When I went into esports, the reason I went into esports in the way that I did was that I saw that a lot of players were not at anywhere near their actual potential. Like they're basically just grinding solo queue in whatever game they're in, particularly like the LCS, with absolutely like no practices, no health habits, no meditation, no visualization, no team synergy, nothing. I was like, this is an entire industry where we could uplift people. And the mission for me in esports, I think I've never said this before, but the mission for me in esports was I wanted to elevate other people through the players. I wanted those players to be icons to other aspiring gamers who were coming up to make that, to not only just in terms of being a good player at a game, but being a good person. And I saw all of those players as potential people who could inspire other people. And that's why I was so attracted to people like Aframu, like who was inspiring an entire group of African-American minorities to be gamers that they didn't think was possible before. You can't believe how many people would go to Zach and be like, yo, I'm the reason you're playing games. Like, oh, you're the reason I'm playing games. It was so cool. It was so cool to see. Like it was really awesome. And that actually launched into this this whole Nova thing, which is like now I believe that influencers are one of the gateways into really changing the world for the better if you harness that correctly. I mean, obviously it can also go the other way, but that's one of the reasons I'm here is because I want it to go the right way. And so when you look at what you're trying to do to improve the industry or world or place you're in for the better, I think you'll find a lot of ideas that surprise you. So if you answer these high quality questions, or you just at least keep asking them, here's where I will stop, right? I can't tell you what to do. I can't, it's not possible for me to answer that question for you. Even if I did answer it, it wouldn't be yours. It has to be authentically yours, this thing. So you have to continuously ask yourself these questions. Even if you think you found your USP, you still have to ask these questions all the time. And then I promise that if you ask these questions in a high quality way and you keep it top of mind and you write and you journal, you will find your USP. every single person on earth has a USP. Every single person has a purpose that they can drive towards to make the world a better place. And the real hard Zen lesson of this is that if you actually the entire time that I did this whole thing and to date, I really don't care about what it earns. I have no real attachment to the money that comes from it. Honestly, and like I know it sounds really stupid coming from the CEO of a company that sold a company, all this stuff, right? I'm cool with just hanging out in an ashram. I did it before, right? Like, and just like meditating the rest of my life with no money. I'm fine, right? Like the value that most of my money's in cash ultimately, right? Like I don't like do anything with it. I don't own a house or expensive. I drive a Toyota Corolla, which is a car I was forced to get because my girl is wanted to drive. You know, I'm not that I'm not that dude. So what I'm saying, the reason I'm telling you that is because I set out with the idea that I just wanted to make certain places a little bit better, and it worked really well for me, and I think it'll work really well for you too. Just keep these things top of mind, keep thinking about them, and it will inspire you eventually, and it'll fit. You'll find yourself in those places. The worst thing you can do is stop asking yourself these questions and give up. Don't ever do that. As long as you keep asking the questions, the fight is still on. Thank you for watching, and leave comments and tell me what you think.